Elara Mitchell had built Technova Solutions from the ground up. 16 years of sleepless nights and ruthless decisions, turning a garage startup into a Fortune 500 company. She sat at the top of a glass tower, wore designer suits, and spoke in boardrooms where every word landed like law. But beneath the polished surface lived a woman who believed power was not earned, it was taken, and protected at any cost. Daniel Hayes was everything Elara was not comfortable with. He was quiet, precise, and devastatingly good at his job. As Technova's lead software engineer, he had built the company's core security architecture from scratch. And his latest project, an AI-driven compliance monitoring system, was drawing attention from investors who started asking about him by name. That was the moment Elara felt the ground shift beneath her feet. She did not see a loyal employee. She saw a threat. The plan she constructed was cold and calculated. She had her personal assistant planned, fabricated email chains on the company server, messages that appeared to show Daniel sending harassing communications to 3 female colleagues. She coached those colleagues carefully, promising them promotions, telling them it was for the good of the company, framing it as protecting the workplace culture. HR was called. The complaints were filed. Daniel was suspended within 48 hours, his badge revoked, his name dragged through quiet corridors in whispered conversations. He sat at home in shock, unable to understand how his career had collapsed in 2 days without a single honest word being spoken about him. His wife, Maya, watched him stop sleeping. She watched him stare at walls. She watched the man she had married for his integrity begin to question his own memory, wondering if somehow he had done something wrong without knowing it. But Maya was not the kind of woman who accepted injustice quietly. She had worked as a paralegal for 11 years, and she knew that evidence, real evidence, left trails. She began pulling at threads. She contacted one of the 3 women who had filed complaints, a junior developer named Priya, who had always been kind to Daniel at company events. She did not accuse. She simply asked with steady eyes and a steady voice if Priya was okay. Something in that question cracked Priya open. Late that night, Priya sent Maya a message with 2 words: "I'm sorry." What followed was a week of careful documented conversations. Priya revealed everything: the meetings with Elara, the promises made, the scripts they were given. She had screenshots of texts from Elara's assistant. She had a voice memo she had recorded. Instinctively during one of those pressure meetings, a habit she had developed years ago for her own protection, Maya handed everything to an employment attorney who had spent 20 years fighting wrongful termination cases. The attorney moved quickly and quietly. A formal complaint was filed with the State Labor Board. A civil lawsuit was initiated. And most critically, a forensic IT consultant was brought in who examined the metadata on those planted email chains and discovered they had been created on a device registered to Elara's assistant, not Daniel's, at timestamps that placed Daniel in a different city on a work trip. The walls came down fast. Elara's assistant, facing criminal liability, did not hesitate to tell the truth in exchange for cooperation. The 2 other women confirmed Priya's account. Technova's board of directors, who had spent years trusting Elara's version of every story, sat in an emergency session and voted unanimously to terminate her with cause. Every benefit, every severance package, every golden parachute clause voided by fraud. The company issued a formal public statement clearing Daniel's name and reinstating him with full back pay. But the board went further. They asked Daniel to lead Technova's new ethics and technology division, a role created specifically because they recognized that the culture Elara had built rewarded silence and punished honesty, and that needed to change from the inside out. Daniel stood in the same boardroom, where his career had once been destroyed, and accepted the role with the same quiet dignity that had always defined him. He did not celebrate loudly. He did not speak bitterly about Elara. He simply said that he hoped the company would become a place where no one ever again felt powerless against a lie. Elara Mitchell faced civil judgments that stripped her of significant personal assets. Criminal charges for fraud and evidence tampering moved forward through the courts. The glass tower she had ruled from was still standing, but her reflection no longer appeared in it. The truth had not arrived loudly or dramatically. It had arrived the way truth usually does. Through one person who could not carry the weight of a lie any longer, and another person who refused to stop asking the right questions. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner Stories, because every story we tell is a reminder that goodness, patience, and truth are never truly defeated.